does that even mean, Bauer's Game Corner?
Ahoy there, YouTube! I'm back again today for another game review. And today I'm very excited to check out Coup Rebellion GS4 or CS4 from Action Phase Games and Indie Board and Cards. This is for 3 to 6 players. Take you, I don't know, about 15 to 20 minutes to play. It's for ages 14 plus. And Coup Rebellion is a standalone sequel to the original Coup. So in the original Coup, it was a bluffing social deduction game where you were trying to bluff your way into killing your friends by gaining credits and duking them and doing all sorts of fun stuff like that. This is a much more expanded version of the game with tons and tons and tons of more cards, more variety, and other more good stuff. But does that equal to a more good game? I don't know. Let's open it up and I'll tell you what I think. Alrighty then, we're going to take a look at what you're going to get inside of Coup Rebellion CS4, GS4, I really can't tell. So first and foremost, we're going to handy dandy rule booklet. It's about, I don't know, 6 pages, double-sided, all text, but it's a very simple game and it's a very simple rule booklet. Most of what you're going to need is going to be on the cards. And I do want to forewarn you, there's a lot of text on the cards, especially on these cards here, which will be at the center of the table. I'll tell you more about those later. It's not as daunting as it sounds. So in Coup Rebellion, what you're going to be doing is you are going to have 2 lives, aka your 2 cards right here, and you are going to be trying to eliminate all the other players by causing them to flip over their 2 life cards. When your 2 life cards are flipped over, you are eliminated from the game, so yes, there is a player elimination. Now, what makes this different from the original Coup is the fact that the original Coup had, maybe 5, 6, 7 rolls, something like this. This one has a massive amount of rolls, and I know the box is way, way too big, but each one of these is a different, unique roll that you'll be able to implement into the game. Now, many of these rolls are very, very similar or identical to the ones in the original Coup, perhaps just with different names, which I actually am a fan of, but most of them are brand spanking new and, can drastically change the game. So let's go over the components, then we'll go into the gameplay. So first component-wise, we'll go over the stuff you already know. You're going to need tokens, credits, whatever you want to call them. These are worth 5. These are worth 1s. This is how you are going to coup people or assassinate people, or if you're the general, kill a bunch of people, do various different things. Next, you're going to have some other random counters and tokens, which will be specific to various different roles, so you won't be using them every day. Peacekeeping, treaties, disappearance, lots of cool stuff like that. They are also specific to these cards right here, and this is all of the different roles in the game. Yes, tons and tons and tons of these roles, plus these 5 right here, which I currently have set up. What I do like about these is they mark on the side whether or not they are advanced or not, even though I will say, this looks incredibly daunting, but it's not really that daunting. I'll give you a good example. Let's just say you look at this one right here, the crime boss. It looks super complex, but in actuality, it's not that complex. So let's take a look at the crime boss card. It says right here, if you do the extortion action, you declare a target. Target either gives you $2 or you pay $5 and you kill them, aka deal 1 damage of life to them. That is explained in like a paragraph here, which, is nice because it clarifies exactly what the card does. But when you first set this out, I would highly recommend reading these cards first and then reading these one, because they will make much more sense. But you're going to set all 5 of these in the middle of the table. People can look at them if they want, just so they can figure out all the different cards work. It would have been nice if there was a giant player reference card, but obviously with this many rolls, that's probably not an option. Each player is going to get $2. Each player is going to get 2 cards, and then you're ready to begin. Now, before you begin, this isn't like regular Coup, where you can just randomly, shuffle and deal 5 of these and then get those cards. No, you have to specifically have 1 communications card, 1 finance card, which will give you money. You're going to have 1 force card, which will generally allow you to hurt other people, and then 2 special interest cards, which will do various different things. This is actually my favorite card in the game, but I'll tell you a little bit more about it later. So right now, I'll show you the 5 cards we have in the game. So this one is the Sacrifice. I love this. It plays a little bit like the Contessa, where you can say, all right, I have the missionary, and you don't lose a life technically. Instead, you just lose this card, and then you take another card from the deck. But it's one of those high-risk things where if someone challenges you, you're in a world of hurt. So when you're about to lose, you'd be like, I got a missionary. So you would get a new card. A lot of fun there. Next, we have the reporter. You're going to take one card from the deck and one from the treasury. Return one card to the deck. So this is generally all the blue cards are how you are going to be able to get new cards. So this one's going to allow you to take one new card and also take a coin, which I like that. It's a little bit versatile in that aspect. So it's essentially like doing an income action and getting an extra card. Crime Boss, also one of my favorite ones in the deck. Declare the target. They're either going to give you $2 or they're going to get hurt. Always a cool thing there. And then the Priest, which thematically works very well. All the players are targets and give you one coin. Also, it blocks charity. And, last but not least, the Farmer. So this one's going to give you money, and generally, as I mentioned, the finest cards will give you money. This one's going to allow you to take $3, but you have to give $1 to another player, which definitely adds a little bit of player interaction there. So you set these two up, and then on your turn, you are going to take one and only one action. The actions you have to do legally are you can take an income, which is always going to be down here. It'll say you can take one income. You can coup someone, which means if you have 7 coins, or if you have 10, you have to do it. But if you have up to 7 coins, then you can coup someone, which means you force them to flip over one of their cards. They cannot block it. Or the other 2 legal actions you can do are you can do one of the 2 actions on your cards, like do the farm action or the report action. However, in this game, you also have the option to do any of the other options out here. So I could do the priest action or the crime boss action. And I could then say, you know, I'm going to do that action, but there's a risk there because if someone calls you out on it, then you are going to have to lose a card. You're going to lose a life. So it's kind of a bluffing thing there where you're like, I think I can get away with taking the priest action. I don't think anybody will call me out on it, because if they do call you out on it and they are incorrect, then they lose a life. And that is the crux of the game. If you've never played Coup before, it's all about trying to out-bluff your opponents. What you're going to do, though, is you're going to take one action per turn. You're going to be acquiring things. You're going to be cooing people. You're going to be lying. You're going to be bluffing. You're going to be swapping out cards. You're going to be crime bossing people, priesting people, doing all sorts of various different stuff like that. One person has at least one card left face up, they would be the winner of the game, at which point then you can take all the cards, reshuffle them back up and deal them, or you can get new cards. Now, one big aspect that I forgot to mention about this game is it is a hidden deduction game, a social deduction game, and that takes place by the fact that you're only going to have 3 of each role in the deck. So if 2 people have already called missionary, it's a little bit more unlikely that someone else is the missionary, but at that same time, the other 2 people might have lied about being the missionary, so it's all head games in this game. But that, in a nutshell, is what you're going to get inside Coup Rebellion. Alrighty then, Coup Rebellion from Indie Board and Cards. What are my final thoughts? Let's go over the pros, let's go over the cons. First, on the con side, I gotta mention it. This box is freaking huge. It's insanely large for what you're going to be getting, which makes me sad because I know they were probably planning a bunch of expansions, and I don't think those expansions are going to come out because, as I'm going to tell you, I absolutely love this game and I want those expansions. But as it stands, the box is way too large for what you get inside of the box, unfortunately. Also, the game, I'm going to put this pure and simple, has a lot of the same problems that some people had with Coup. It's a very light, social deduction-y bluffing game. And, you know, if that's not your cup of tea, that's not your cup of tea. And this one, I think, is going to have a much higher entry mark than the original Coup, just because there's more to learn. Most people have played Coup. Most people know the different roles, even vaguely. However, with this one, especially if you're flipping up the roles, you're going to be having to teach different roles each time you play or each other time you play. And it can be daunting because there is a lot of text on the cards, and that can confuse people, especially if they don't pay attention and they pick up this card and they're like, when a player loses a life for any reason other than a coup, they may claim the missionary. If the deck has at least one card, the card claimed to be the missionary is put aside face down its life, and that player takes one card from the deck. If challenged, claim lots and lots of text, which is going to scare some people away, especially from a 15-minute game. And for that reason, I have to say, this is one that is only for people who really enjoyed Coup. And I think that is definitely something that I can easily say about this game. If you really enjoy Coup and your game group really enjoys Coup, then I think you're really going to enjoy this game. However, if you only like Coup, then this is absolutely 100% a try before you buy game. Also, if your group only kind of likes Coup, this is a try before you buy. Any other cons I have with the game? Yeah, some of the roles, I wasn't a fan of some of the roles, but obviously when you have, 30 to 50 roles somewhere in there, there's going to be some that you just dislike. But some of them, I wasn't a fan of them. They kind of just skewed the game. Like, I felt like some of the cards were just a little bit too more powerful. They didn't feel complementary. They just felt like, oh, that card is in the game. That's going to be the strategy that I'm going to take. Whereas, when other cards were in the game, like, ooh, I might try and do this. I might try and do that. And I like it when it's kind of a little bit more freeform. But granted, 15 minutes, whatever. Other cons I have with the game, yeah, player elimination. That's going to turn some people off, but it's 15 minutes, so it's not a big deal at all. And obviously, 3 players. Yeah, I would not recommend this at 3 players. 4, 5, and 6 is okay. 5 and 6 is obviously, I think, the best way to go. But, yeah, that's a typical Coup problem. Any other cons I have with the game? No. Put it simple. Coup Rebellion. Coup is in my top 50 or 100 games of all time. I believe the last time I did a list. Coup Rebellion is an amazing game that's better than Coup. And I love this game, and I absolutely adore this game. This game's going to go on my shelf, and I'm going to want to play this game a lot. But here's the problem. I can't give it a Buyer's Best seal, just specifically because it's such a niche game. This is like so hardcore niche game. Like, you really have to like Coup, and you have to be down for Coup to play this. And my game group even likes Coup, but at the same time, I busted it out, and they're just like, yeah, I'd rather just play the original Coup. And that's unfortunate because it's just one of those times where I just was expecting everyone to go gaga for it, and it just did not happen. I think that's why you haven't heard as much about this game as I imagine a lot of people were expecting when it was released on Kickstarter, I think it was. So what do I like about the game? Obviously, the variability. There's tons of different roles in this game, which makes every single unique game of Coup different, and I like that. And we had one night where we played this for about 2 to 3 hours straight, where we just played Coup, and then each time we would just introduce a new role, and the next time we'd introduce a new role, and 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 it just, every single game was a little bit different, and I loved it. And I would love to have game nights just like that, where I just played this game all night, because that was the one thing that I got a little bit burnt out with Coup because it was so samey, but this takes away that sameness because it adds different aspects and different things you can do. And for that, I love this game, and I really wish that there were more expansions for it. Unfortunately, probably not going to happen, but Coup Rebellion, CS4 or GS4 or whatever it is called, way too large of a box, not for people who don't love Coup, I would say, or have game groups that don't love Coup, can be a little bit confusing for newer people. But if you like Coup and your game group likes Coup, you absolutely might want to check this one out, give it a whirl, and see if it is for you, because I know it's for me. I just need to make sure that I get to the game group that loves Coup. So that is Coup Rebellion CS4, one that I adore, but unfortunately, a little bit niche. Definitely, not just a little bit niche, I'd say a lot of bit niche. If you enjoyed this review, please be sure to click on that subscribe button down below in the comments below. Let me know. The Coup universe. Do you dig the actual universe in the Resistance universe? For me personally, no. I don't like it. I don't like the artwork. I don't like the art style. I actually really like the original Coup art style, where it's, what was it, Coup Guantanamo 1984, was based out of Cuba or something like that. I really liked that theme and that artwork. So this one, needless to say, is a turn off to me, but still the gameplay is so fantastic that I can definitely overlook it. But let me know in the comments below. Coup, do you dig the art style and the theme? And as always, thanks for your time, YouTube.